Welcome to the Tacoma Eldercare channel, brought to you by Bob Michaels, elder law attorney with Smith Alling, PS. Today's guest is Miss Lisa Doyle, registered nurse, geriatric care manager, and owner of K-Care.
Good afternoon and welcome to Tacoma's Eldercare channel. My name is Bob Michaels and I'm your host. I'm also an elder law lawyer that practices law here in Tacoma with the law firm of Smith Alling, located down here on 15th and Dock Street in Tacoma. We're again very happy to have Lisa Doyle from K-Care, and we're going to dive into a subject that I think is a compliment when I say I've had a couple of clients in lately that we've had to address the issue of hoarding, and you came to mind first. So I thought this would be a great topic because it is becoming more and more prevalent, and quite frankly, family members who have to deal with a person who is a hoarder, or even hoarders themselves, it's very difficult. Finding solutions to those issues
really
are difficult. Well, first of all, why don't you introduce yourself, Lisa, and let us know who you are and how to get a hold of you. And then I've thrown the term out hoarding without defining it, so maybe we can jump in and do that.
Sure. Hi, my name is Lisa Doyle. I'm a nurse and certified care manager and also the founder of K-Care, Eldercare, and Senior Living Advisors. You can get a hold of us at kcare.com, which is www.caycare.com, or you can call us at 253-777-3804. We serve Pierce, King, and much of Western Washington. So thank you for having me today. Hoarding, the definition, I'm sure I almost feel like I don't need to define it, but it's the excessive retention of items that makes a home cluttered in many cases, but it can be new items, used items, and not having the ability to even discern what is a reasonable thing to keep. But what makes it such a problem is that it can affect the safety and the well-being and the quality of life of the people who are hoarding and those that live in or around that person.
I've seen where fire departments have advised us that should there be a fire in a person's particular home,
right,
they will take care of the exterior, the perimeter, but they, for safety reasons, will not go in because there is so much paper and ways to injure themselves. And so it becomes not only a safety hazard for them, but for medical and fire people supporting. And I think when we've probably all seen television programs on hoarding, and we tend to kind of identify or come to know the type of person that's in that situation. But I've also had clients that came in that would appear as probably as practical as you or I, but if we were to visit their place, we would probably gulp and say, uh-oh. So people who will overly obsess or hoard things come in all shapes and sizes.
They do.
And it only becomes a problem when we get into, filth, clutter, their quality of life starts to be affected, or more importantly, if they have to transition either caregivers into the home for assistance, or out if they have to transition out to a facility, that causes all kinds of issues, not only leaving their items, but also what to do and how to clean this up. So what are some practical solutions? How have you guys dealt with when you're called in, dealt with these situations?
Well, every situation is unique. I think what is probably most important to understand is that if the hoarder isn't motivated, you have to start with that because you can't force the motivation to occur. Family can want it. It can be necessary, and that's where a care manager comes in, but you have to understand that if they're not motivated, there's not much you can do. Everyone, including the hoarder, has the right to protect, their items and choosing what happens to them. And so there's some rights versus safety issues that come up that care managers help with quite a bit, and making sure that we're helping them get towards a safer direction and protecting their rights. People who hoard often are very ambivalent about accepting the help and even about having their items looked at and discarded. So probably the biggest, best tip I tell families is, first of all, I recommend you get a professional involved because you just can't reason that way. But most importantly, respecting those items. Even if to us we would describe them as junk, they are not to them. And so that's probably the best tip I could say, is be respectful of how they have things and help them come to a conclusion to find the motivation to get help.
Along the lines of bringing in a professional, I'll relate back to a previous video that we have done with memory care loss or memory loss and so forth and dementia. Quite often family members will very quickly butt heads with a loved one and reach an impasse, whereas a third party such as K-Care and Lisa can come in and quite often they can have breakthroughs where otherwise wouldn't. So definitely don't try that at home on your own. Do bring in a professional, I guess, is the moral of that story.
It is actually, and it can be expensive if you don't get help. So I recommend that you have a start. No guarantees in these situations, but you're certainly better off to enlist some professionals to help you out.
And one final tip I would throw out is quite often people have known that their loved one or spouse or family member has been a hoarder for a long time, but they don't know what to do, so they ignore it. And only when there's a crisis where there has to be either in-home care or some extra steps taken with care management, that the situation has to be dealt with, and it only gets worse as time goes on.
It does. Yeah, I definitely recommend that when you have somebody with a diagnosis or you're starting to worry, start figuring out what you're going to do and enlist the help of others, because if you wait till there's an emergency, it's going to be much more difficult, and even from a financial situation, because getting someone moved quickly and getting all that in order takes time. So, yeah.
Well, Lisa, once again tell us how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah, okay, so it's K-Care, www.caycare.com, and it is 253-777-3804, or you can call us toll free at 844-LTC-PROS, P-R-O-S.
Great, well, great information. Great to see you again, and we'll have you back on again shortly with, I'm sure,
another tip
on another great topic like hoarding.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.